Test, test.
Yep. All right. We are recording. Today is the 23rd of July, and this is the our Sustainability Working Group meeting. We will begin in 5 minutes. Okay. We should be recording. Dylan, you good? Yep. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Nick Stanzone. I'm the Environmental Program Coordinator for the City of Satellite Beach. Thank you very much for attending today's Brevard Sustainability Working Group meeting, along with presentations from our distinguished guests. We have Surfrider Foundation, KBB, and the Marine Resources Council. They're all going to give you a quick 10-minute presentation on what they're currently doing in their programs for helping the environment regarding plastics and ocean-friendly restaurants, litter quitter program, and the green business program. So if you have any questions, please hold me to the end, like I said, and we'll go ahead and listen to our distinguished guests. I think we can start with Surfrider and move our way down to the MRC.
Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, I'm sorry. My name is Alec Butchness. I'm the chairman of the local chapter here in this area. It's called the Sebastian Inlet chapter, so we extend from Vero Beach all the way up to Patrick Air Force Base. Our goal, for those that aren't familiar with us, is coastal conservation in many different forms, and so sustainability is a big area for us. I'm going to touch on a program that we currently are working in, a campaign. It's called Ocean Friendly Restaurants, and then my associate Randy Gray, who's one of our top members, is going to just highlight some of our more general sustainability efforts, just to give you a good feel. But we have a program that began about a year ago. It's called Ocean Friendly Restaurants. It's Surfrider Foundation, just so everybody is aware, is based in California. We're the, like I said, local chapter. So they came up with this idea of trying to influence what restaurants do as far as their sustainability and their practices. And they thought that, the main goal was, if you can change a person's behavior, just, an individual while they're eating, get them thinking about the environment and their relationship to the outside, what they do and the practices they make, it'd be a big step. And so it kind of grew from an individual thing to let's go ahead and get restaurants involved. So the program, it has basically a couple different criteria for a restaurant to be listed as, quote, an ocean-friendly restaurant. Basically, there's 4 things that must be met. One is the elimination of all polystyrene, styrofoam as far as for takeout containers in the restaurant. The other is that they follow proper recycling practices, whatever, those, and they are mandated locally as far as what's available to the company, but in whatever manner that they can try to recycle certain things is going to be looked at. That they only use reusable tableware in the restaurant, and that plastic tableware is only available for carryout upon request. And the 4th item is that no plastic bags, no single-use plastic bags are given. So those are the 4 kind of mandatory criteria. And then there's a list of 5 other items that they can choose 3 of these items to implement. And once they do that, then they'll be considered a ocean-friendly restaurant, and I'll explain the benefits of that. But a couple of the low-hanging fruit, we like to say the easy stuff to implement, would be that plastic straws are only provided upon request. We've got a lot of restaurants locally, Long Doggers being probably the premier, recently went to plastic, straws only upon request. So it's a great initiative. That they have no beverages available in plastic bottles. That's a little tougher for some of the roadside stores and whatnot. Another one is that they offer a discount for customers that bring their own reusable cup, mug, or bag. The other criteria would be that they offer some vegetarian or vegan food options on a regular basis, and all seafood must be best choice or good alternative as defined by Seafood Watch or certified sustainable. And 2 more options that they can choose from is to have their water conservation efforts, such as low flow faucets and toilets. It's more of a structural thing with the restaurant itself. And the other similar is energy efficient efforts such as LED lighting and Energy Star appliances. So if a restaurant can again demonstrate that they have the first 4 criteria and then 3 of the others, they'll be recognized as an ocean-friendly restaurant, which will then provide them with, Surfrider will provide them with a lot of marketing, promotional materials for their restaurant, for their menu, so that they get recognized in the community as working towards an environmental, sustainable restaurant. Once they're listed, then they're also, if you go, and I don't have handouts, I thought it'd be easier just to let you know, you can go on Google ocean-friendly restaurants. It's, it'll say surfrider.org, and they actually have a search facility there where you can search for local restaurants. So if you click on that and you can drill down to wherever you are in virtually any coast. There's about 270 of these restaurants in the country now. Majority are in California and Hawaii. Florida is expanding rapidly. We've got 3 here in Brevard County now. Islands Fish Grill down in Indian Harbor, in Indian Atlantic, and the Nomad Cafe just across the bridge, and then finally, it's a pizza. It'll come to me in a second. But so that's the program. There is a nominal fee for restaurants to be involved with it. But if anyone knows any local restaurants or you're eating in, you think they would be a good candidate, please feel free to reach out to us. You can reach us through our Facebook page. You just send a message to it, and I'll get it and reply. And now our coordinator of the program, her name's Shannon Snyder. She's on vacation this week, so she couldn't join us. But I'll get her in touch with you, and we can follow up with the restaurant to see if there might be some interest in going forward. So that's that on the ocean-friendly restaurant. We'll take questions in a minute. But Randy just wants to highlight some of the more of the other sustainable activities that we get involved in.
Yeah, some of the other programs, we've kind of decided we're going to attack this in many different levels. First of all, we've been going into the schools, working with programs for sustainability awareness, helping them with indigenous planting projects and those kinds of things, reaching out to the community again for the sustainable restaurants, pushing reusable bags wherever possible to all businesses. We also get involved with other organizations with any of the local planting. We've done some volunteer work for the lagoon planting and some beach dune planting projects.
Good examples right out front here in the garden area along the line here. We're involved with that replanting.
And again, at the municipalities, Surfrider's been pushing in the idea of strategic retreat, which is basically kind of reclaiming the primary dune line, which seems to be the most crucial point of beach reclamation and renourishment from a natural standpoint. And we're working at different levels. Most of the municipalities very successfully working with Satellite Beach on that initiative. And we're also taking it up the line to the state level. So we're getting active at many different levels and really pushing this agenda and trying to touch as many people as we possibly can.
All right, thank you guys so much for that wonderful presentation. Well, let's move over to KBB next.
Good afternoon. My name is Brian Bobbitt. I'm Deputy Executive Director of Keep Brevard Beautiful, and this is Kaylin Palmer, our Programs Coordinator. About 2 years ago, Keep Brevard Beautiful rolled out a program called Litter Quitter, which Kaylin's about to go into details with you. Basically, the idea was to get volunteers trained to approach restaurants that they frequent and try to get them to change their single-use plastic policies. A lot like the ocean-friendly restaurants, get them to have an ask-first policy with the straws, and then there's several different levels from there. The program grew as we partner with Brevard Zoo and have recently revamped the entire program, and I'm working with Satellite Beach to do a rollout here in the next month or so, where we're going to train a bunch of new volunteers, and we're really just going to kind of hit the ground running with this program once again, kind of revamp it. We also partner with Edward Don and several other providers for the to-go containers, and have set it up to where if we get multiple restaurants to team in together to purchase their to-go containers, they can use sustainable paper-based products instead of the styrofoam, instead of plastic, everything like that, at a discount rate if we can get it in bulk by having all of our Litter Quitter members work together. So with that, I'm going to go I'll let Kaylin go a little bit more into detail about the program as she's the coordinator for it.
Okay, thank you. Do you have a clicker? You're good?
Yep, I'm good.
Okay, so I am the program coordinator. My name is Kaylin Palmer. So I do run the Litter Quitter program, and we've been working with Brevard Zoo on this program. We've completely revamped the program, made new criteria, have gotten new partners, and have really changed it to make it more progressive and basic for the businesses to get into. So Litter Quitter has short-term goals. One of the goals is to eliminate or reduce single-use plastics. Our second goal is to encourage reusable items if they can. And then our long-term goals is to have sustainable food sourcing and composting, Brevard County composting. So those are our long-term goals for this program. And Litter Quitter, as he explained, was established 2 years ago. We've been partnering with Brevard Zoo on it, have revamped it in this past year, and we will be rolling out the new Litter Quitter within the next month. So Litter Quitter, it's a very big, as we all know, right now this is a very big topic. You know, people are really concerned with plastics in restaurants and where those items end up. And we know firsthand because we do plenty of beach cleanups and we see what's out there on the beach, in the water, in the lagoon. So we see how much plastic ends up around the county. So that's what this program wants to stop. So many marine life have actually perished due to plastics. So that's our main goal, is to try to reduce the injured marine life.
Nice one about styrofoam.
Yeah. Yeah, so styrofoam takes 500 years, and then I thought it was crazy that we actually use 400 million straws every day worldwide. That's a lot of straws. All right, so member benefits. So when a member actually joins the Litter Quitter program, which is a free program for them to join, so when they join, they actually get these benefits. So we give them a Litter Quitter window sticker, we give them coasters, we give them table tents, posters that are optional, and these are all things that can show their customers that they are taking this initiative and doing a great job on it. And we also promote them on our social media, on Brevard Zoo and our page as well, and we really promote their business for doing such a great initiative. So they get a lot of press from us. And then we also have an annual get-together where we show off the businesses. They actually get to talk about what they're doing in their restaurant, and we broadcast that on Facebook Live. So Litter Quitter works. We have actually a couple of different things that help it work. Us, program partners. So we do all the background work. The vendors, they provide sustainable alternatives at a discounted price. So we're working with multiple vendors on that. The businesses participate in the right thing to do. And then the volunteers are actually the ones that go out and approach these businesses, explain our program, and get them started in it. So the program partners are us and KBB, well, us and Brevard Zoo, and our mission statements are pretty similar. So what KBB is all about, motivating and educating the local environment and businesses about what they can do to change their ways to help the environment and keep litter off of the beaches. So the current vendors, we have Edward Don and Company, we have Eco Products, and we're also starting to work with Aardvark. And Aardvark, if the business purchases a paper straw from them, which has been proven to degrade in less than 5 hours, if they purchase that, it actually gives percentage back to Brevard Zoo's Turtle Healing Center, and it gives a percentage back to our program as well to keep those efforts up and running. And then these are all the businesses that currently participate in our program. We recently got all of Brevard County's Long Doggers on board, and then we've also got Meg O'Malley's and Hemingway's Tavern. So those are our recent additions to our Litter Quitter program. So who are the volunteers? Maybe you. So we're actually having a volunteer training session on August 10th, and it'll be at noon. It's going to be at noon at the Brevard Zoo. How do you say that?
The Naimi, I
We don't know how
can't
to say
pronounce
it.
it. The lodge.
The lodge. It's going to be at the lodge at the Brevard Zoo. And that's where you'll be trained as to what you're going to be doing. You're going to be going out to the businesses and helping us recruit them. And then we also do checkups on them as well. So the bronze level, they only have to do one of these. So it asks for a straw policy, which is very important because it reduces costs for them. and then also gives people the option if they do still need a straw. Switch to a sustainable straw option, and encourage customers to bring their own straw, because now metal keychains with straws on them are all the rage. So people have their own straws that they like to bring. So they only have to meet one of those. They also have to meet one and one of bronze. So this is the silver. Switch plastic bags to paper bags. Encourage customers to bring their own reusable bags. And then switch plastic utensils to a sustainable option. And the gold level, you have to meet one bronze, one silver, and one gold. So switch styrofoam cups to a sustainable option. Switch to-go containers to a sustainable option. And then encourage customers to bring their own reusable to-go containers. And then we also have deck netting for waterfront businesses to keep litter from running off the deck right into the water there. So that would be the gold. And we think this is a really basic program for them to get started in. Ours is kind of a sustainability 101, if you may. So this is an easy program for them to get started in. And then it also gives them the option, because some restaurants may not want to eliminate their straws altogether, and that's their choice. So we give them many choices in each level. So restaurants will be given items, brochure, coasters, posters, just many, many different things to help promote what they're doing in their restaurant. You can just skip all that.
Everybody should have one of these on the table.
Yes, yep, I have given you one on your tables. If you didn't have one, I think there's some extra ones up here. I just kind of passed them out wherever. So yeah, then we have the coasters, the table tents, and then we have many different options for them to choose from for the business to help promote what they're doing in our program.
Very cool.
Yeah. So that's our contact information. Again, my name is Kaylin Palmer, and then we also are partnering with the Brevard Zoo with Sharon Connolly. So both of our information is up there. Thank you.
All right. Very good. Well done. Let's go to the Marine Resources Council real quick.
While he's switching that, I'll just introduce myself. My name is Shannon Egger. I'm the education coordinator at the Marine Resources Council. Has anybody been to the Lagoon House? Is that familiar to anyone? A couple people. So if you have not already been, it's just over the bridge down US 1 in Palm Bay. And we are a nonprofit organization that we work to protect and restore the Indian River Lagoon. So we focus primarily on the lagoon, but we do care about all the water bodies that we find here in Florida. And what we have is we have our Green Business Program. So in the past, this program was actually developed to target landscaping companies and teaching them sustainable landscaping practices. So, when the fertilizer ban is from June 1st to September 30th, what slow release nitrogen is, what types of fertilizers they should be using, and then also with grass clippings, blowing the grass clippings back onto the lawns or collecting them and disposing of them properly. So in the beginning, it started out as a landscaping program that targeted specifically those businesses, whereas in the past couple years, we've kind of changed it over to accept businesses of any type. Right now, we have landscaping businesses, we have restaurants, and we actually recently just got a hotel. It's the Hilton on, I think it's down in Indialantic, but it's called Melbourne Beach Oceanfront. But what we've been doing is expanding the program so that the practices that the businesses can target are open to all different types. So I'll kind of explain that on the next slide. But our goal is to help businesses identify where they can make changes and help them adopt those practices. So where can they find the resources, the information, the help that they need, and then also aiding them in maintaining those changes. So not just the one-time switch, but they can, sustainably continue that practice over and over. So this is kind of where I wanted to look mostly. But so the way that it works is we have interns, so this is also something that we offer to interns at FIT in the sustainability program. So when they sign on, they help us with recruiting businesses, and what we do is we go out to the businesses, we talk to them, have a meeting with them, and if they are interested, if you go onto our website, you'll see the Green Business tab. If you go under there, you'll hear about a pledge. And what this pledge is it's a way for these businesses to identify different green practices and say, oh wow, I already do this one, or this one might be a year out from what I'm looking at, or this one's not ever gonna fit my program. So with that pledge, we have over 100 different types of practices, whether it's water conservation, energy conservation, landscaping, waste management, all sorts of different things, even like personnel changes, so tips for getting all of your employees on board and things like that. And you can see the breakdown, so if you look at that pie table, it's a little hard to read because it's so small, but you'll see that most of our practices fall under energy conservation, general waste, their fleet, so whether or not they have vehicles, things like that. But it offers, a bunch of different angles so that businesses can pick and choose what they feel more comfortable with starting out. So if it's something that they are hesitant to start on, they can pick low-hanging fruit. They can pick the things that are the easy changes, and then as their confidence gains, they can continue to reach those more difficult changes that they need to make. And in the pledge, their options are they can say that they already do one of the practices, they can say that they'll be working on it within the next year, or they can say that that's something that they're not interested in. And what we ask them to do is, so once they complete the pledge, we'll meet with them, we'll talk about some of their responses, what did they target for the next year, and we'll work with them on helping them find resources. Like for example, when we met with the Hilton, they wanted to look into recycling their oil from their restaurant in the kitchen. And so we gave them some of the tips and organizations that can do that for them. And then after that initial meeting, they are welcome to reach out to us at any time and we'll help them with what they need. But then what we do is every year we ask them to retake the pledge. So you take it one year, you set your goals, and then you take it the next year and you can see what have you achieved, what haven't you quite got there, what do you want to aim for the next year, and we kind of keep working in that way because it sets their goals for them and kind of keeps them self-attainable. So it's not us coming after to say you didn't do this, it's more of we get to work with them on it and they get to choose what is attainable for them. But that's pretty much our program, but it's open to any types of businesses. And it covers quite a few different areas, so it really depends if they're looking more for waste management. We have those available, but we also have options for the water conservation, changing their landscaping over. If they are a restaurant, where is more sustainable food sourcing, or if they can, having their own gardens, things like that. So we kind of help them with working through all of those changes and kind of the difficulties that they run into. That's the Green Business Program, pretty much. Yeah.
Thank you, Alec. Caleb, thank you, Shannon, for your presentations. Very nice. I think we'll pass it on to Linda at this point.
Yeah, so well done, you guys. It's great to hear what all is going on out there from some of our groups, and this is our opportunity to ask some questions, so we can take the next few minutes and ask them some questions. Ready, set, go.
I got one real quick we can kind of kick off with. I learned a lot of the details today, which was really nice. And I don't see any conflict in anyone getting all three certifications if I was a hotel or a business. Is there any conflict with getting all certifications together? They seem to work well together.
No, and actually part of that is, with us, with our Litter Quitter program, we're kind of like the first off stepping stone, get them interested, get them to where they're taking on some sustainable practices, and then when they want to move up to the next level, that's when we would encourage them to probably head over to Surfrider with some of their LED programs and just take it to that next level after they've kind of entered the door.
Perfect. That's so great. Thank you.
So I have a question for you, Shannon. Actually, I have a question for all of you, but first I'll start with you. I'm curious about y'all's program. When a business wants a level of expertise to comply with the pledge, so whether it be maybe they want some expertise on renewable resources or something like that. How do you guys handle that?
So we have a kind of growing database of resources that we use. So if they are looking, and the other thing is there are, we are kind of this program is very broad. So it
Right,
covers
yeah.
a lot of areas.
Right.
So if it's something where they're looking specifically for one target, like for example, if, the hotel is looking for how can they make their accommodations smarter or like things in their rooms, there is like a green lodging program that actually takes place in the state of Florida. So we'll kind of direct them in places where they can get that level of expertise without them having to dig and dig and dig through everything that they're going to find.
Right.
So we kind of have those narrowed down already. So
Okay,
it's,
so you do refer
Right,
them to, okay,
right,
that
yeah.
was my question, really. Do
Mhm.
you refer them to
Right,
other areas
yes.
of expertise?
Yes,
Excellent,
yes.
excellent. Go ahead, Lynn.
Well, I was just going to ask, do you have that list to share, or is that?
That's part of the program. So that list or like that assistance and finding all of it, that's part of the program. That's what we do usually in the meeting. So once the business fills out the pledge,
But with other organizations or other municipalities, is that something you can share?
I'd have to ask our director, Lisa. I'm not sure.
If you can't share it, we'll make a copy.
Yeah, I can ask her. I can ask her after this meeting.
Yeah, and I'm just curious how you come up with those lists, how you come up with your list of resources.
It's ever growing.
Yeah.
So it's something where, we might not run, it's something that's been developed. So partially that's part of our interns' jobs. I have them, do a lot of research, and they spend a lot of time researching all the different programs that are available in the state. And they kind of look for all of those levels of expertise, and then they've compiled those. And then, it's always dynamic, so it's always changing. And every time we go into a meeting and someone needs something new, that's something that can be added to that list of resources.
Okay. And can organizations request to be on that list as a resource?
Yes.
Because I'm thinking about landscaping.
Yes.
We consider ourselves to be the experts on
Right.
landscaping,
Right.
especially native and
Yes.
Florida-friendly landscaping. So,
Mhm.
we would love to be on that list. Because
Yeah.
we're working with Cocoa Beach right now to develop a program for hotels on Florida-friendly landscaping.
Okay.
So, if we could all sort of put our heads together and our resources together rather than everybody trying to do one little piece.
Right.
Because I don't want to do some of the stuff you guys are doing,
Right.
but, what y'all are doing is absolutely fabulous.
Right.
So I think that's one of the reasons why we wanted you all here today, is so that we can all talk about how we can all work together more efficiently. So that was the reason for my question on that. For the litter quitter stuff, I was somewhere this week, and I don't think it was at the forum, but this past week I was somewhere, and they were talking about litter and how litter is going to be the next big topic. So the litter quitter program is definitely right on point. And for the surf riders, what was my question for you? If you guys have anybody else has a question? go
Yeah,
ahead.
so for the MRC program, what is your geographic span?
So MRC spans the entire length of the lagoon, so
But in
Right.
reality?
Right now-
Right now, where are they in?
Right now, we
Because
typically-
you have limited resources, I'm very familiar
Right.
with the MRC.
Right, so typically right now, we're doing Brevard County. There's been talk of trying to expand it to the southern counties.
But in the businesses that you have right now, are they within Palm Bay
No.
or up to Bellevue?
Yeah, no, so they're the entire Brevard County.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you have businesses in Cocoa?
Yes.
Men's?
What business would that be?
So right now, we have, I believe, 8 businesses. Most of them are the landscaping businesses. I don't remember all of their names off the top of my head.
Because I'm real familiar
Okay.
with the businesses there, and
Yeah.
I'm just wondering. what's
No, but the
happening.
program is designed to span all of Brevard County. So we would be welcoming, anywhere within that reach is somewhere that we would be able to work with right now. Yeah.
So what do you mean that the ones that you have now are mostly landscape businesses?
So I believe like 5 out of the 8 of them are landscaping businesses. I know we have like Mow Girl Lawn Care, things like that, because that's what the program originally started as. So in the past year, we've kind of redeveloped so that it expands, all of them.
Yeah.
So we do have Blackwater Grill, we have the Hilton now beachside. So we are expanding past that landscaping goal. Yeah. Mhm.
So my question for Surfrider, you guys, is what kind of barriers are you finding that the restaurants have to getting involved? And this could go to any of you, actually, but I'm really more interested right now in the restaurants.
Right, that's a great question. The biggest thing, feedback we're getting, or pushback, or difficulty that a lot of restaurants face right now is with the recycling requirement. You know, recycling right now is, you know, it's changing minute by minute, basically. And until there's some type of profit motive that's greater than it is right now, because there's no reason for Waste Management to recycle, it's a losing proposition. I mean, it's great for their public goodwill, but unless they're going to make money at it, they're not going to do it in the long term. So that's where, for example, Islands Fish Grill, you know, that was one of the requirements. So the workaround, and, you know, we're flexible. We said, you know, we want to do the best we can do in that situation. So there, any of their glass bottles, you know, they don't have recycling there, but the owner actually takes them back to her home and then recycles them through her residential program.
So as I learned last week, I don't know if you remember if you were part of that, but last week we learned that really most companies right now are preferring that you not recycle glass at all, because there's no market for glass. So unless you can find a reuse for it, they're really asking that you kind of keep that out of the recycle stream, just because of what's going on in China and everything. So
Well, the whole recycle issue is in question right now. It's, you know,
that's the biggest.
it used to be the thing everybody tried to do, right? And you felt good if you recycled, but now in reality, you know, reduce and reuse is far greater than recycle.
Right, and you know, if people are aware of that, not lay people, but people in the industry are very much aware of that, and so, and that's just what we were told last week, is just keep glass out of the recycle stream for now, because it's just complicating matters. And there was a lot of discussion last week at my table, Izzy, Jazzy, I'm sorry, about rebranding recycling altogether with a brand new nationwide campaign. And so there's actually a movement afoot to kind of just completely throw away everything we know about recycling and starting over, because that's how change, right, no pun intended, or pun intended. So anyway, that makes your answer there.
You're welcome.
Well, the single stream, there's obviously a Florida Vegas an article about how people trying to, okay, well, I'm not sure, but I feel better recycling it. Well, okay, now you're gumming up the works with your Christmas list, and then, you know, it kind of makes the whole.
And one thing about that, if I can chime in a little bit, I know that Brevard County, Keep Brevard Beautiful, Waste Management, and a couple other organizations have been studying this for a while. Andrea kind of led a group called Lean Six Sigma that we've all been part of, and trying to find out what people think they know versus what they're actually doing, and came up with the wish cyclers and everything else like that. One thing that we're looking at, especially with the school board as well, we've all been meeting behind doors trying to figure out what the next step is for the county as far as recycling. You know, a lot of it depending on what's happening with China. I think that some of us, we need to probably look at, you know, if there's a compost possibility in the near future, it's something we should look at. So.
Right. I totally agree with you, Brian. And I think one of the reasons for this Brevard Sustainability Working Group, and this is my drive home point here today, is that, you know, you guys are working behind closed doors on composting. We're working behind closed doors on composting. You're working behind closed doors on composting. And we don't accomplish anything with all of us working behind closed doors.
Right.
We really need to get everybody at the table. And that's the conversation we were having at the Sustainable Florida Forum on Thursday, which is, you know, all the sustainability leaders and movers and shakers in the state met on Thursday. And that problem is statewide and it's nationwide, you know, and the root of it comes from funding, basically. You know, all the nonprofits, the NGOs, and the government, everybody's trying to get a place at the table because we need funding. But at the end of the day, if our mission is to be more sustainable and work towards a sustainable future, we all have to put aside those personal agendas and work together. And so that would just be my message, is that we really have to do that and really focus on what we're experts at and bring in those people who are experts. So
Absolutely.
I applaud you guys for your work you do. I think it's great.
For Marine Resource Council, so at my salon space, I participate in a recycling program that you guys might be really helpful. So I don't know how much salons reach out to you.
Okay,
But-
we'd be willing to work, like, we don't have one right now, but that's part of our program, is working through it with you, so that you're not alone, like, what do I do? Because actually, so one of the reasons, actually kind of going back, one of the reasons that we developed this program is, I believe it was in 1999, a study was done by Florida State University that found that 75% of Brevard's businesses were willing to make the changes to become more sustainable, but the reason they weren't is because they didn't know how.
Right.
So that's what we are helping with, is that how.
Well, the program that I participate in at my salon is called Green Circle Salon,
Mhm.
and I believe it's all of North America.
Okay.
And I've been doing it for about a year and a half, and I would say that the waste at my salon has easily been reduced by about 90%.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
they have, and they make it really easy for you.
Mhm.
So I don't know if it's something you
Yeah.
can contact and partner with them,
It's called
but
Green Circle.
Green Circle Salon. And so I can recycle all of, like, hair color comes usually in tubes or cans, which are metal.
Mhm.
And then when you do highlights, that's on foil. And all of those are not recyclable. I mean, like, if you took the time to rinse all the foil, you could recycle it.
Right.
But the cans and tubes and stuff are just sealed in such a way that you couldn't really
Mhm.
recycle them. So they allow all of that to be recycled. And then all of the excess color waste, they actually, like, put in a centrifuge and they're able to separate it. And then
Okay.
they take the color waste and
So
they...
is it something you ship out?
Yes, but they
Okay.
pick up, and it's no
Really?
charge for that. Like, you basically pay, I think, $2 a customer. So you
Okay.
can, like, upsell and just say, like, here's your $2 service charge
Right.
for what I did for your hair today. And then it can be zero cost to
Right.
the salon, if they
Right.
choose to pass it down like that. But they also recycle human hair, and they've used it to make pet beds for animals displaced due to forest fires, pillows for refugee camps, and they teamed up with Virginia Tech to create bioplastics with it.
Okay.
And then they also take all of the byproduct that's left over after I color someone's hair. There's some left in the bowl. So now rather than rinsing that down
Right.
the drain, I put that in a separate container as well. And then they take that, and 96% of that becomes reusable water. 2% of it becomes renewable energy, and then 2% of it goes into a lined landfill.
Right.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, really my only waste is like my gloves, a little
Right.
bit of cotton that I use, and then whatever Starbucks cups that my clients bring in.
Right.
And then they'll also take light bulbs, they'll take batteries. Basically, they're like, whatever you can't recycle where you are, throw in, and we'll find a way to do something with it.
Right, and those are the types of resources that we offer, kind of compiled together for, whatever they choose on that pledge. So if they choose 5 things to focus on out of the 100, that's a good start. And I mean, because they have that year, they can plan for the next year, they can plan, kind of plan it out. You could sit down with their printout of the pledge and say, these are what we can attain this year. The rest of this is like, we're going to put that on hold for a second. So that's something that we can provide for organizations, and that's a great resource. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd be
Yeah.
happy to,
Yeah.
if there's anything I can do to help with that.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, real quick, this is great for all 3 organizations. Well, thank you for being here and talking to us today. I'm learning a lot. I do believe a shout out to KDB. They've been a real help for us in some strategizing and trying to come up with some messaging on the whole recycling thing. Thank you.
Thank you.
I went to our schools. We're the 800-pound gorilla in the county. I'm reminded of that daily. So I guess my question is, I want to know what you guys are doing in our schools. I'm relatively new here, been here for years, I don't know some of the nuances. And the better question is, what more would you like to do in the schools that we can help you with?
Mind if I go first?
Sure.
We have a current standing contract with the county to go into all 4th and 5th grades throughout the county. And we used to educate children on conservation, litter reduction, just overall recycling practices, everything else like that. And the thought behind that was to approach these kids, get them on board with it, so that way they go home and get on mom and dad and teach them how to recycle correctly. Recently, after working with the county and the Lean Six Sigma group I spoke about earlier, we're revamping that over the summer. And we're looking at some of the studies that Andrea has kind of hosted along with some other people. And we're taking that, we've realized everyone knows that recycling is good, but no one else knows really how to do it correctly. So that's what the program is really going to focus on, talking about like the glass. People end up contaminating everything that their neighbors are trying to do. You get one or two people on that block that don't recycle correctly, that whole truck is useless. So the idea is to go home or teach these kids how to go home and recycle properly. Mom, Dad, okay, you know you're going to put that mayonnaise jar in the trash or in the recycling bin, but you need to rinse it out first. Let the dog lick it, something, make an effort. The second part of that, and what we would like to see, and we've kind of looked at it, we want to be beyond the 4th and 5th graders. We want to be in the high schools because these are the kids that are about to be out there on their own. They might be moving out of mom and dad's house. Mom and dad's always been the one to recycle. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. But these are going to be the next wave of people that are going to be putting things in a recycling bin. So we want to be in front of those kids too.
I guess to continue off of KBB, but we don't have a specific program for sustainability for kids, but we do have, our field trip programming. I do offer a marine debris option, so where they can learn about types of marine debris, what each type causes, to happen with marine mammals, birds, things like that, and then how long it takes to break down. And then the other thing is we have our lagoon literacy program, which is where we send trained volunteer presenters out to classrooms with different supplies. So there's different program options that the teachers can choose, and those include kind of like another marine debris option where they can talk with the kids about, the effects of that on organisms.
And this is a really great, this question is a really great example of our kind of company or interagency coordination. So we have kids clubs at certain schools that we run, ocean clubs, and we've had both groups come and give talk to the kids in different topics, all similar to what we've already discussed, conservation issues, erosion, beach plastic and things like that. So we do it on a school by school. If there's an adult parent there who would like to work with us to coordinate it, we've got a coordinator of school programs. But in answer to your original question, Bruce, as far as what you would like to see from this side of the table, I think ultimately, we can work, and your associate, forgive me, I've forgotten your name? Kevin. So you run the food services. That's the key, I think. If we want to make a big dent in this. My wife works the school system, and she comes home amazed every day. She goes, "You won't believe how much plastic goes in the trash every day at Port Malabar." So I think if we can break loose that log jam there and just change practices. We're working with Northrop Grumman and their cafeteria, trying to get them. They've eliminated the styrofoam, so all the same steps that we've all been talking about: single-use plastic, styrofoam, things like that. Into the school system, it's a twofold effect. One, we're getting a big chunk of the problem addressed, but also we're educating children at the same time, and that's the key to the whole thing.
We have two other quick points here just to throw out there. One, I'd like to work with all of the organizations to make a certification where I can get some sort of Energy Star, or already working some other things. Anything I can get, my boss loves awards. Okay? Really simple, and the principals love them, and the school board loves them, and all that stuff. So if you've got programs that I can capitalize on, I will use them. Okay? And finally, you're all listening to these restaurant programs. I urge you to reach out to our culinary institutes. Those are the people who are going to be in the restaurants in a year or 2 or 3, and those are going to be the leaders. And I'm more happy to introduce you to the Culinary Institute chefs. They are all going to know, and I'm sure there's some other aspects to work with that. Would it be okay to do a quick introduction?
No, I'm gonna have everybody do that. Just answer the questions. Okay?
One last question for me over here.
Love it. All right.
So, the co-op option for a lot of these restaurants, the issue is, the costs, right? Oh, it's expensive. I don't want to switch. It's expensive. Where do I find these products at? What am I going to use instead of styrofoam? That's the only name of the game we've been using for X number of years. Can you each talk a little bit about how to co-op those options, to get them that list of what's available, what are you doing to create those lists and those co-ops, what co-ops are currently available for straws, to-go containers and things like that. Is that part of any of the programs?
Just real quick, our take on that question, that does come up a lot, they really got to look at the big picture. You know, if we can, you know, they're looking at saving, you know, a couple cents here and there on a product, but if we can have them look at this program as driving more people, there's, in our society right now, more and more people are environmentally conscious, and they have choices, and they want to go and use their dollars at, you know, at a business that supports what they believe in. We can make that widely available to them so that there's this list of restaurants that are potential customers that will come in specifically because you participate in this program. That's not a cost. It's an investment in your marketing and promotions.
Before you, I have a question. Are you guys doing any kind of data collection on this to see if these restaurants are in fact increasing customers and decreasing paper costs? Have you done any kind of analysis?
Not locally. We don't have enough.
It hasn't been around long enough to really be able to see if there's a.
I can check with corporate to see.
Maybe
if.
we can talk about that.
Yeah, it's a
Because
great.
I come from the data world.
No, it's a great.
In academia, so that might be something kind of interesting.
That'd be a good tool to have.
Sorry, guys. I just wanted to get that out first.
So the actual prices on the styrofoam, can we use, is the alternative a similar price if you participate in one of these calls, or is there still an increase in cost?
It's, from what I understand, and we've worked with some of the companies you guys recommended, trying to get the customers to go with the other products, but, you know, styrofoam is super cheap in comparison to paper products. There's no way around that.
So the
I
question.
don't know specifically what percentage, maybe one of you guys know.
The conversation we have when it comes to this is usually, just take away the bad option, right? So can we convince the restaurant on a gold level standard to just not offer to-go containers? I know it's crazy, but sometimes those crazy options are the ones that yield results. If Publix didn't offer any bags, you would then bring your own bag. If a restaurant didn't offer any to-go containers, you would bring your own to-go container.
I don't know. If I were a restaurant, I wouldn't.
I know, it's very, yeah.
I wouldn't do that.
I just had to say it, so that I was the one that said it, but,
Yeah.
so please, any information on co-ops that exist?
So for Litter Quitter, like I had shared, we are working with Edward Don and Company, Eagle Products, and Aardvark, and we actually came up with a list of items that we will give businesses, and they do give them a discounted price. Now, the businesses don't actually have to get together. Let's say we have 4 businesses who want to reduce their costs. They don't have to get together. If they're in the Litter Quitter program, they get the discount automatically. So that kind of helps with the price. Like he said, there's nothing cheaper than styrofoam. So it's,
Or
it's
plastic
really,
bags.
yeah.
So is that in the manufacturing? Or is the issue that there is a matter of they're just not available in the same way that styrofoam is? They're not manufactured in the same way styrofoam is. And is there any bigger picture here, like actually trying to attract that manufacturing business?
Yes. You know, the bottom line is that businesses are in this to make money. And what needs to, you know, everything that we've talked about always comes down to how do we make money? The recycling, everything. It's all about money. So what needs to happen, the better question is going to be, would people be willing to go to this restaurant, pay a few cents more for this, you know, for this product, knowing that it's more environmentally safe? See, that would, to me, would be the better marketing strategy, is you're going to pay a couple more cents, or, you know, 50 cents or $1 more for your food here, but you have a significantly less impact, negative impact on the environment by doing so.
Well, I would also propose to them as well that if they can reduce their waste somehow, then they're going to recover those costs. So, you know, if you can somehow spin it that way as well. Those are things, I think that's where you got to have some data in order to sell that idea.
Right.
Right?
But
Yeah,
yet,
with the Litter Quitter program, our main thing when we try to get people to participate in our program, since the first level is all about straws, you know, our thing is if you do the ask for a straw policy, you're saving a lot of money on straws.
Yeah, now do you have dollar figures there?
No, we haven't actually launched, we haven't actually launched this program yet. It will be launched in August, but we will be collecting that data, because we want to know how many straws they're saving and equivalent, the dollar amount that it's equivalent to. That way we have data to show businesses, look, you're going to be saving this much money.
Well, it's not just to show businesses, but
Yes.
as you guys go for grant funding and things like that, if you have that dollar number.
Yeah.
Then that's going to give you an edge.
Oh, yeah, and it shows a really great impact too, yes.
Right. So Shannon, I'm going to let you answer, and then I would like for us to move on to our agenda, if that's okay with you guys.
I'm
Unless
going
you
to
have
follow
something
up,
burning.
because he just mentioned eco products and other similar compostable containers are only compostable in industrial composting facilities.
I think that's the
So it's
key.
a very tricky situation when we talk about compostable containers. Obviously, you know this. How are you getting around that or preparing for the future of that?
So we actually sat down, us and Brevard Zoo, when we started revamping the program, we sat down with our vendors and we came up with a list of items that we would like. And so far, we don't have any compostable items on there until we get a facility in Brevard. We don't want to be giving them compostable items, which then don't compost correctly. So everything on our list is made out of recycled material that can then be recycled again. So those are the items we're targeting until we get that facility. Because like I said, we don't want to be giving them products that isn't going to help.
And
So.
the composting facility, are the plans underway, or?
There's been talk, but it's still a ways away.
There's a lot of people talking about it. A
Yeah.
lot of different groups are talking about it. And there's some definite barriers to that. We need the entrepreneur that has the capital investment to buy the property and to make it happen. So, right, there's an opportunity. Shannon, if you want to answer real quick, and then I would like for us to move on to the agenda if there's no other burning things, Nick. Okay.
And this is the co-op question?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, it's through the resources. We don't offer any specific discounts. It's more of help just working through it. But not that I know of. No. Yeah.
Do you work with like neighborhood organizations or anything that wouldn't necessarily be in business, but might be a group? Would you guys do?
I wouldn't see why not. Yeah, is it like an HOA kind of thing, or?
Yeah, something like
Okay.
that. Even something that's mostly organized as maybe like an online group of people that are interested in,
Yeah.
neighborhoods.
I wouldn't turn you down, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you all very, very much for being here. I would like to, formally and informally invite you to be part of the Brevard Sustainability Working Group. I mean, that's, what y'all are doing and what we're doing are all very closely aligned, and we're here to support organizations and sustainability boards and committees throughout the county. So you're more than welcome to be a part of our group. Join our Facebook group. We're not really active right now because I just set it up a few weeks ago, but it's Brevard Sustainability Working Group. So join the group, and that's where we're going to share a lot of our resources and just things that we find that are pertinent to sustainability. So again, you guys are please stay and get to know us a little bit. And again, thank you. And thank you, Nick and Satellite Beach for setting this up today. This was very informative. So I would now like to give Bruce the opportunity to introduce his guests, and then we can also go around and let's just reintroduce ourselves because some of us may forget who we are.
Okay, thank you guys up front. I invited two guests to come down today, and I'll introduce them separately real quick because they have a couple of real quick announcements that I think all of you will be very interested. To my left is Kevin Thornton. Kevin is Director of Food and Nutrition for Brevard Public Schools. He's responsible for feeding 67,000 students every day. Yeah.
10 million meals a year.
10 million meals a year. Okay. Kevin, do you want to say something?
Sure. This has been very informative, so thank you very much for allowing Bruce to bring some guests along. So, I've been working with Bruce for some time now. We're trying to do better with regards to what we're doing in our cafeterias. We took a very aggressive initiative this past year. We're trying to change the way people perceive us and also looking at packaging and things that we're doing in our cafeterias. So I hope that people will see a major change taking place with regards to our cafeterias. By the end of this, at the beginning of the school year, we're taking out styrofoam out of the school system. So that is something that we work very hard with. I know I've worked with several people in this room, meeting with them on regards to that. And we feel it's the right thing to do with regards to moving in that direction. We'll actually have two student items that we still will have in the cafeteria that I can't find a replacement for yet. But we are moving in that direction very aggressively to make that transition. To answer the question about cost, it's a $200,000 expense to me to build upon that change. You're going from a 3-cent tray to now an 8-cent tray. That's the cost association with, and that's the cheapest tray that I can find out there that is sustainable with regards to a compostable tray. We did move into the regards to the compostable tray because I'm looking at wanting to be able to see if I can find a school to partner with and put a compostable machine at one of the schools. So that's one of my goals this next year, is to look at a school and looking at the resources. This was a conversation with Bruce going down the hall with regards, and this would be a great group to be able to talk with that, and being able to see about insightful information with what schools would be willing to do that, or if you know groups that would want to.
Lord said like.
Edgewood, so you know, we want to look at that for us to be able to focus in on, but then, you know, that also breeds more complications too. What am I going to do with the compost that machine's going to generate? So that's another piece that I need to work out before I buy into this and being able to do that. So those are some things that I'm looking for from this group to be able to share with how do I partner with landscapers or, you know, individuals to be able to see how that can be used, or if there's a school garden, that there's a school that is heavily engaged in that, because I need this to be a success before I bring this piece out. So we are aggressively looking at that piece of it. We are putting in more fresh fruits and vegetables into our schools, trying to get away from the plastic pieces, the containers, but the reality is when you serve this type of volume of meals, you're going to have some type of, you know, displacement of the goods to use in the cafeteria. One of the schools I'm really excited about in Titusville High, I just remodeled that this school year. We're actually just going to be trying reusable baskets instead of the cardboard baskets, and seeing how that is taken with the kids to be able to see how that will go. So we are looking at trying to put plastic reusable baskets instead of cardboard baskets for the other things. The compostable tray is a cornstarch tray, so we're very excited about that piece of it. So the breakdown will actually take quite well. But, a lot of changes taking place. You know, I love the energy here. KDB, I'm interested in talking with you all some more to see how we can continue some partners there, because I think there's a great opportunity there with that piece. But excited about this rollout.
I just want to share that one of the concerns that Kevin and I talked about is a lot of the stuff he's talking about is offshore, and there's a little bit of issue about tariffs. And when we're talking 8 cents, that could be a real problem. Okay, and one of the things we haven't publicly announced it. It's not. I wanted to share it with this group so they would all hear, and hopefully, my goal is to engage some of these other groups that we just mentioned. Landscapers, the communities, the municipalities, to see what we're going to do with all this compostable material that we can have a lot. And as he said, again, I'm going to drive it home. We're looking to have 1 or 2 pilots out there, and we're looking for active communities that want to support it. And hopefully, if we can get some cost sharing, that would make it. Okay. My other guest, thank you, Kevin. My other guest I'm going to introduce is Dr. Erin Saney. She is with the University of Central Florida with the Marine Turtle Research Group. And I had a passing interest. I saw an announcement about something that they were planning to do in the future, and I reached out to the center because I have a big thing about sea turtles. I'm really a sea turtle fan. And for those of you who don't know, sea turtles are probably the most important thing out there to interest young women in STEM. Okay, that's a real big push for me also. So I reached out, and in my other life, I'm very active in my engineering society, and we are trying to get my engineering society to adopt the Marine Turtle Research Center. And with that said, I've asked our students to come in and talk about the big plans we have that maybe you don't know about yet.
Sure. Well, thank you, Bruce, and thanks for the opportunity to share a little bit about what we do. As Bruce mentioned, with the UCF Marine Turtle Research Group, we've been around for over 35 years. Lab was established back in the early 80s by Dr. Llewellyn Earhart, also known as Doc. He's since retired, but is still active in some of our research as an emeritus professor. The lab is currently run by Dr. Kate Mansfield, who's been with the program for about 5 years. She just got tenure, so she's going to stick around. We're excited about that. I've been with the program for a little over 3 years. I live actually locally in Brevard County, so this is really exciting to hear all the initiatives going on here close to home. We also do most of our research here in Brevard County. Our research program is fairly enormous this time of year. We are monitoring nesting beaches on nearly 30 miles of beach here in Brevard County, ranging from the north end of Patrick Air Force Base all the way down in the Archipelago National Wildlife Refuge and to the line with the Sebastian Island State Park. So we cover about 13 miles of the 20 miles of Archipelago National Wildlife Refuge. We also have a decades-long in-water monitoring program where we're going on the Indian River Lagoon twice a month, every month, 12 months a year, monitoring the turtles using what's called an entanglement net. So we have boats constantly monitoring the net, and we're out there monitoring the turtle populations. And we take all sorts of samples from these turtles and have numerous graduate students who are doing research with us. Right now, our program, this time of year, we have our biggest staff. We have about 30 people on board, including myself and Dr. Mansfield. We have 4 year-round staff, 7 graduate students, 11 all-female interns, summer interns this year, and we have a number of past interns who work with us. So we're at 30 people for the summer, and those folks work incredibly hard and are all very passionate about keeping debris out of the water and off the beach. Our lab is pretty unique locally because within the state of Florida, our beaches are actually hosting 1 in 3 green turtle nests in the whole state and 1 in 5 loggerhead nests in the whole state based on the last 5 years of data. And just on the Archipelago National Wildlife Refuge, we're hosting 1 in 8 loggerhead nests in the whole state. Florida, as I'm sure everyone here knows, is a very special place for sea turtles in central Florida. Right here in Brevard County is a really important place for both loggerheads and green turtles. We also see a not insignificant number of leatherbacks in our area, and our lab not only works with these adult turtles on the beach, we work with nests, eggs, and hatchlings. We cover kind of the teenage turtles in the Indian River Lagoon, and Dr. Mansfield brings a unique aspect to our program. We also work with sort of the toddler turtles out in the middle of the Gulf of Mexico. They're also in the Atlantic. We do our work in the Gulf of Mexico. So we cover the entire life cycle of the turtles, those offshore turtles that are really impacted by the debris, and we see that firsthand when we've got them on the boat and they poop out lots of plastic. So anything to keep the plastic out of their mouths is a great thing in our book. Within our program, because we're working with protected animals, we can't just barely do research in our own little bubble. We kind of have a 3-pronged approach to the way we work. We do the research, of course, on the beaches and in the water, both near shore and offshore. We provide scientific advisory services to the governments who are protecting the turtles. So locally, we work with the county, we work with the state, and we work with the federal government who are managing and assessing sea turtle populations. And we also have an education, training, and outreach component. Largely our education is related to graduate students. We train interns and we go to sort of public events and try to do outreach. We're stretched pretty thin. I'd love to integrate more, public school education, but we're still in the process of figuring out how to pull that off. But we definitely love to interact with groups, and if there's questions that we can help you answer, we're certainly around, and just be persistent if you're contacting us. We're really bad at email, I know. But it's nothing personal, but we're happy to try and help where we can. The big news for us is we're trying to ourselves become more sustainable and permanent. The project has been around since the early 80s, but we've only recently had a formal agreement agreement with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, which oversees the National Wildlife Refuge. This is the news item that Bruce mentioned. We do have a formal memorandum of understanding to use the property where we currently have a house that's owned by the Fish and Wildlife Service for the next 40 years. We don't have any formal fundraising going on yet because working with the federal government, you have to jump through some hoops before you can fundraise for their land. But we are hoping to be building at the area where we already have a house, 2 additional buildings, so that we'll really be able to house people, house an office space, and have a research space rather than cramming it all into one building. So that's down the road, and UCF will hopefully be kicking off a more formal fundraising platform for that in the coming months. But right now, we're working on kind of day-to-day expenses and welcome all sorts of contributions and help if it's out there for just our personnel and our supplies and our tags. And we're also looking for suggestions as to how we can do better in terms of being sustainable. And I'm hoping with these new facilities that we'll be able to implement a lot of green initiatives into what we're doing. I think that's where Bruce and his group will be able to help us out. And just one last little plug, we're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you like turtle pictures, look up the UCF Marine Turtle Research Group. But if you need to contact us, I would not rely on social media. I'm happy to share my card if anybody wants to reach out.
Let me just kind of reinforce 2 things that I came from. When I met with UCF fundraising people, they're looking to raise $5 million for this research facility. This is a significant investment in Brevard County. Don't get confused with Barrier Island Center. That's Brevard County Parks and Recreation. It's an educational facility. They're separate. This is going to be a research facility. It's not for public access. We're talking about wild animals, research, all that good stuff. Of the $5 million, I understand that they already have $1 million donated, so they're off and running. My goal is just to let people know that this is out there. Let people know that we're looking for additional donations, additional support. I see my role and work with schools. I see a great way to reach out to our students and talk about what is going to be the #1 world-class sea turtle research facility in the world. I think it's using some economic development, and I think this group should know about it. And so what we do to really tap into it. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, stay tuned. More to come on the fundraising. I hope soon.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Bruce, for bringing Karen and Kevin, and thank you, Kevin and Mary, for being here. And you are welcome to join us every month. So please, feel welcome. If we could go just quickly around the room, since there are people here who don't know all of us, and just introduce yourself real quick.
Martha Ruth, number 2nd floor. Learning voice, this inability to be in contact.
Darcy Lee with Brevard County Natural Resources.
And the skills you have, IFAS extension.
Jackie Henry, Satellite Beach, Sustainability Board.
And Loretta Cost, COCO, Sustainability Magic.
I think you know everybody up there, right? Nick?
Yeah, Nick Sanzone, Satellite Beach Environmental Program Coordinator.
All right. Okay, excellent. Thank you. So a few more things on our agenda that we need to get through. Just old business, just a reminder to join the Facebook group. That'll be a good communication tool for us, I think. For those of you on Facebook, if you're not on Facebook, rely on email.
Just a note on that, there were 2 groups, one without a picture, one with a picture. Yeah. I found 2.
One with a picture is the official group.
Yeah, but the other one, just like the starting out when they first.
Okay, okay. See what's wrong. Our sustainability working group. Can't find it.
Yeah, I couldn't find it on mine either.
Oh, I just came up.
I searched it today and found it, so Brevard Sustainability Working Group. If you can't find it, shoot me an email. I'll get you there, okay? The September meeting, we need to come back and revisit our mission statement. We talked about it way back when, and then we kind of forgot, and then we got busy. So we're going to come back and do that. That's going to be on our agenda for September, okay? So the new business, thank you again to our presenters today. I think, Lorraine, do you want to talk about the value of trees?
I don't know if you have notes from the last.
I didn't get any notes.
But I left here with 2 assignments. One was to come back with some information on the value of trees.
Okay.
And the other was to set up a speaker for our next August meeting. Doug Howard from the Solar Energy Development Board. Doug is a former county commissioner in Broward County. He started the CELF program. This is really starting to take off. This allows low to moderate income folks to get solar on their house. Even more importantly, to put roofs on that can hold that solar and become more storm protected. So these loans that are targeting moderate to low income folks and are not based on, I hate to start to talk about it, because I talked to them for about an hour, but I'm going to misquote something, but they just worked out a program with insurance companies where they can tie down roof and make changes that really make it more storm protected, that reduction in the insurance cost goes towards, it's part of the way they're making it less expensive, with those reductions actually go towards loans.
So what's his last name?
That covered. And I've got cards here for everyone, but I would like to, I've confirmed with him that he's available on the 4th Monday of next month, so let me just pass this around. I would like to suggest that we consider doing this particular program, the Florida Solar Energy FSEC Center in their auditorium, and that we make an effort to get other folks there as well. I'm particularly interested in getting people from COCO so that they'll really take it seriously.
So you want to do that for our meeting?
People and staff people. Well, that's what we decided at the last meeting.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
That just kind of, I think we need, in September, we need to come back together and decide what this group is, because that veers away from what we said we were going to do for this group. I think it's great, and I'm excited about this.
Okay, because that's what.
But we need to get back together in September. We need to figure out what this group is, because if I remember correctly, we were talking about we had some other projects on our back burner, and so.
Well, I was asked to do that, and then the.
No, I think it's great. I think it's great, Lorraine.
Yeah, what I was going to suggest for I'm not sure, so is it that getting a speaker veers away from what we're doing?
No. I think we had talked about doing educational part pieces at our meetings, so we decided we didn't want to do that yet. We wanted to wait until we kind of had what our mission was and everything before we started doing that. Bring him on, because I think this is a great opportunity.
I missed that.
So continue with that, okay? Continue with that.
Yeah, because the thing is, the reason I was going to suggest really reaching out. I mean, this guy's got to drive almost 2 hours a day.
No, this is
and
fine.
he's willing to do that. And the reason I want to get him for the next meeting is that they just signed a contract with Orange County. And all his time is going to be sucked up there. And of course, Orange County is light years ahead of the rest of us when it comes to solar.
And most counties are years.
At least if we could get some awareness going, but.
Sure, no, this is great.
So what would be great is if we could get a press release out or something. I don't know that we as a group are set up to do it.
Well, that's why we weren't going to do those kinds of things yet, because we as a group aren't ready for that kind of stuff. But you and I can work on a press release. So how about you and I work on this?
Okay.
Okay, and I'll take up meetings.
What do you think about doing it at ESCA?
I think that's great. Colleen's not here today. We'll have to, I think Colleen.
Well, I could go home and give them a call.
Okay.
And find out, is the lunch program, will we still be a lunch program? And that should work for I'm thinking about municipal staff, trying to get some municipal staff here. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's sometimes a challenge.
So can you and I talk
about it?
Yeah, when we get the
Well,
meeting
the other
back up
thing
here.
then, with the other task that I had was coming back with the value of trees, and I was going to suggest a program that I was exposed to, participated in several months ago, was again in Orange County, where they are working with the Green Infrastructure, it's an organization, former colleague of mine, the Green Infrastructure Center, which is actually in DC. They got a state forestry grant. And the whole idea here was looking at green infrastructure, looking at trees, not on the yard scale, but on the whole canopy scale, and how much that can save you in terms of stormwater. And so they ended up doing, and I'm thinking, Brevard, sometime in the future, actually understanding that canopy, understanding where there are gaps, understanding the different soils involved in the absorption rates, and, so that when we're like Houston and get hit with the 500-year storm, this is just one way to build resilience against it. So, and evidently, I guess we'll wait until after September, but, the woman, sustainability, I don't know if she's a director or the assistant, but the woman from Orange County that acted as a liaison in this project, she said she'd be more than willing to talk to us and come out, so that would be.
Okay, all right, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of, University of Florida's done some research on urban forestry. And I sent you a link, could be. I sent you a link to a webinar that's happening tomorrow. Did you see that? There's a webinar tomorrow. Rob Northrop from the University of Florida is doing a webinar on urban forestry. So I sent you an email that to you. And I think I put it in the Facebook group page too. So if you're interested in that, I'm going to try to tune into that tomorrow so we see what he has to say. So cool. All right, great stuff. All right, looking forward to it. So the next meeting, just while we're on that topic, is August 27th, 12 p.m. And Lorraine and I will get our heads together and find a location for that. And I'll send you guys an email on that. All right. Great. Just a couple of things from my part of the world I'm going to share with you. The Sustainable Floridians program, I think we have one graduate here, right? Lorraine, you're the only one. I'm sorry, Marcia. So we are conducting another Sustainable Floridians program on October 30th. If you're interested in that, October 30, 31, and November 1st, 3 days of learning about sustainability and more importantly, learning about how to take action in your community for the sake of sustainability. And then I'm going to pass out the same. I'll give you a flyer. Yeah, you can get the flyer when it comes back this way. Save the date for April 16th through 19th, 2019. I'm a co-chair for the National Sustainability Summit, which is going to be held at the West Shore Grand in Tampa. And save the date for that.
What's that date again?
I'm going to pass it around. Don't worry about writing. I'm going to pass it around. Because I know how we are.
Yeah, you did anything in writing at 12 o'clock, I'm on my way over to Lake Drive.
Yeah.
I had forgotten.
Oh, no. I know, I got a lot of people that didn't know the meeting was today. Did you guys announce it?
Well, you set up the agenda, right?
Everybody gets, okay, all right. Great, okay.
We have it recorded so we can
Excellent.
share with everybody.
Thank you, Dylan. Hi, Dylan.
I want to also mention one thing. On your desks, you'll find that there is some handouts provided by our guests. MRC, KUB had one, and there's surf rider information up at the front if you'd like to grab any of this information provided by our guests. Additionally, there is a flyer for our sustainability workshops. As part of the city's Sustainability Action Plan, we are doing a series of workshops once a month on a variety of topics. And the next one is this week, July 26th, the Lagoon Landscaping Pilot Program, where we will be discussing a grant opportunity for satellite beach residents that live along the lagoon. Also interesting, if you just live along the lagoon and you want to learn about this program and want to promote it in your area, to your municipality, if they can get funding for it, and things like that. But that list right there will go on for the rest of the year, and you can also find that information on our website. And all of the workshops are recorded by Miles for Earth. So they're available on the city website as well.
So it doesn't say what time yet?
7 p.m. Yeah, I made the flyer before I decided on the time. You know how that goes.
Anybody else? Any other
I think we have a stack of these.
things that are good to be
Oh, yeah, I left this down.
Yeah.
All right, I will stop the recording then.
All right.
Meeting adjourned?
Meeting adjourned. Thank you again, Nick.
Yeah.
We're gonna see you.
I gotta do it.
Thank you.
Thank you.